Maybe about 10 years ago, I was touring in Thailand, and I went to a mall in Thailand, and I bought the entire, I'm sorry to say that, but I bought the entire collection of the Beatles for $20. And I paid for it, and they gave me the DVD, and I walked out. And I remember walking into the middle of the mall, and I looked at it, and I said, it's over. It's over. The way that we know music is over. Like first of all, if I just paid $20 for the Beatles catalog, what's my catalog worth? But the one thing that I think I felt comforted in knowing is we will never, ever live in a world without music. So now you just got to figure out, okay, if I'm making money off of music, how is that going to work going forward? Because the way that it worked 20 years ago is gone. So that started me thinking. And ironically, I texted Mac Miller and told him that I was a big fan of his music and just the way that he was putting stuff out. And he came to the studio and we sat down. And he came to the studio to pick my brain, but actually I invited him to the studio to pick his brain. Because what I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the old guy in the club. I wanted to make sure that me and all of the rest of my peers were saying how fucked up the music industry is. Am I tripping? Because he doesn't seem to think it's fucked up. So let me find out his perspective, because maybe I'm tripping. And I sat down with him, and maybe about 30 minutes into the conversation, he started to open up, and he said to me, he said, can I be honest with you? And I was like, sure. He said, you know what the problem is with your generation? You focus so much off of making money off of your music. And I just looked at him, and he said, how much is a CD? And I said, $10. He said, how much is a t-shirt? $25, $30. He said, why don't you give a CD to everybody who buys a t-shirt? He said, you make more money and everybody thinks it's cooler to buy a t-shirt than music. And I sat there and I said, shit. That was the smartest shit anybody could say. Like, I was tripping. I was like I'm looking at him like, what? And he said his first 5 projects he put out for free, because what he felt was more important was developing his fan base than making money off of the music. Because once you get a fan base, they'll buy your underwear. They won't just buy your music, they'll buy your concert tickets, they'll buy your underwear, they'll buy shoelaces. If they're a fan, they buy everything. He's like, you're so focused on selling this one piece of music instead of bringing people and buying a piece of yourself. And he left, and I completely changed my outlook on the way things were, because I understood why that generation thought that today's music industry is the greatest shit ever. And I was like, I'm tripping.
Very insightful.
I know so many legendary producers, singers, songwriters that have a catalog of stuff just sitting there, and you have no idea what they're waiting for to share it to the world. Like, it's not going to go back to the way it was. So, and I kind of said this in the video. One of the things that drives me absolutely crazy is when I know someone who's extremely talented and they're not doing anything with their talent because their spirit is broken. Everybody's spirit is broken. Everybody's spirit is broken, you know, and you have to get away from what broke your spirit. One of the panels was with D-Nice and Rhymefest, and it was talking about diversifying you know, some of the things you do, because somebody like D Nice was a producer, he was a rapper, he's a very accomplished photographer, he's a very accomplished DJ now. And before the panel, we were sitting down talking, and Rhymefest said to D Nice, you know, when the panel's over, I'm gonna ask you to spit a rhyme. And D Nice said, I don't do that anymore. And he said, what? Why? And he started going through this long list, you know, well, this happened to me, and this person burnt me, and I never got paid from this, and such happened, and this. And I was just sitting there, and I stopped him, and I said, but what did the music do to you? What did the music do wrong to you? And he looked at me, and I said, it's funny how you quit the thing that you love that did absolutely nothing to you. Get away from all of the people that did you wrong, but don't quit the music. I don't know anybody that music has done wrong. Like, there were certain things, I think, in the music industry that never made sense to me. Like, I didn't understand when the record company used to tell us that it takes 9 months for you to put your record out. And does it take 9 months to press it? Does it take 9 months for the trucks to get the material to the store? Like, I don't understand what's the 9 months. You know, I'd rather you tell me that this is the schedule that we have you on, but don't tell me that it takes 9 months to do it. You know, if it's, I have a record that I want to get out for the summer, and you say, oh, if you don't have it done by December, it won't come out in the summer. It doesn't really make sense to me. And I've always a person that would try to find a way to get it done on my own. And I think that's why I'm so excited, more so for today, because all of those roadblocks that I had 25 years ago are completely gone. That you can, you know, if I go in the studio today and make something that I like, and I want the people that like what I do to hear it tomorrow, I can give it to them tomorrow. You know, I don't have to wait 9 months for something to happen. So I think, you know, more than anything, I always wanted to be as 100% creatively free and in control. You know, not just that, but just, you know, today with, you know, the way, you know, cameras and GoPros and all the rest of this, you know, you can shoot your own video, you can provide your own content. You have 100% control over what the world sees of you. You know, I used to say one of the biggest issues that people had, you know, in the music industry is creative freedom and am I going to get paid for my work? Sometimes I believe that super creatives would take creative freedom over actually getting paid for their work. They just want to be able to get their shit off. Like, this is inside of me and I want to get it out the way that I want to get it out. We live in a time now that you can do any kind of music that you want and you can get it out to your fan base. We used to have to wait to get signed to a record label, and the record label basically had their hand on your fan switch. So when it was time for your record, they cut it on, and then they pushed all of the content out to your fan base, and when it was time to move off to somebody else, they cut it off. Right now, you have your hand on the switch. You control the fan switch. And I'm shocked at how many people don't cut it on. Like, I'm shocked that, you know, it's almost like we have all been in a prison and someone opened the doors to the prison and told everybody you can go, and nobody's moving. It's almost like you're like, you go first. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You have total freedom, total creative freedom to tell the world what you're doing. And there are people that I know that are kind of like, I don't really like social media. I don't really like, you know, tweeting and telling people. Well, yeah, and I understand some people aren't comfortable talking about themselves. It's really awkward. You know, sitting on your phone telling everybody, hey, I'm the shit. Check me out. You know, sometimes that, you know, it's a little awkward, but it's something that you have to do.